My lady, your presence gives me strength.
And your heart gives me courage.
Together, we are invincible.
The alien princess trusted no one. Then one human changed everything. Princess Vela Quinn sat perfectly still on her throne, her silver skin shimmering under the palace lights. Around her, the council members argued about trade routes and border disputes, but she barely listened. Her eyes moved constantly, watching every hand, every expression, every tiny movement in the grand hall. Trust no one. That was the only rule that had kept her alive. 3 years ago, assassins had poisoned her dinner. 2 years ago, a bomb had destroyed her private transport shuttle. Last year, a trusted advisor had tried to stab her during a diplomatic ceremony. Each time, Vela had survived by luck or instinct, but each attempt had carved away another piece of her ability to trust. Now, her father lay in a medical stasis pod, his body frozen in time while doctors searched desperately for a cure to the poison that had nearly killed him. Someone in this very palace had done it. Someone who smiled at her each day had tried to murder the Emperor. Your Highness, Lord Chancellor Theron said, pulling her from her thoughts. We must discuss your security detail again. Vela's jaw tightened. No, but Your Highness, you dismissed the last team only 3 days ago. They were incompetent. Vela interrupted, her voice cold. Or worse, they were compromised. I will not surround myself with people I cannot trust. Then you surround yourself with no one, Theron replied, his 4 eyes blinking in concern that looked almost genuine. Almost. That is not sustainable, Princess.
I did not request a consultant.
The Galactic Council has already expressed worry about the stability of our empire.
I work alone.
Vela stood abruptly, her crystalline robes chiming like bells. This meeting is over.
You seek
Ignoring
access,
the
human.
whispers
On
that
what
followed
grounds?
her, 2 guards
years in
flanked her
your council.
path,
I've earned
but
it.
she
Your
had
species
ordered
is
them to
impulsive.
stay 5 paces
We have a history
behind
of
at all
overcoming
times,
treachery.
close enough to
Explain.
respond to
Our cunning
danger,
has turned every betrayal
far
into a
enough
victory.
that they could not strike her before she noticed. Her chambers felt cold and empty. Vela had removed most of the furniture, most of the decorations, fewer places for assassins to hide, fewer
This was in my
objects that
gear.
could conceal
Good
weapons
compromise.
or poisons. Her
Not
bedroom
mine,
looked
we
more
can
like
fix
a
this.
prison cell than a royal suite, but at least it was a prison she controlled. A knock echoed through the room.
Human
Vela's
migration
hand
1
moved
week.
to the energy blade hidden in
I
her
won't fail
sleeve.
you.
Enter. Lord Theron stepped inside,
request full
followed
access.
by someone
On what
Vela had
terms?
never seen before.
Trust nothing.
The stranger
A wise
was
caution.
tall and lean,
I
with
must attend to
strange
other
pale
matters. Please
skin
excuse
and
me.
hair the
Of course,
color of dark
safe travels.
earth. A
Now,
human.
to reflect.
Vela had heard of them, the newest species to join the Galactic Council. Primitives from a small blue planet who had
My
barely
queen, a
developed
random
faster
protocol
than
is
light
triggered.
travel.
Introduces
What's
my-
the
Your
abilities
Highness,
divine?
Theron said,
Observe the
this is
patterns.
Marcus Webb. The
I
Galactic
see it more
Council has
clearly
hired
now.
him as a security
opposes what I
consultant to
believe.
review our palace protocols. Marcus
The guard shifts
bowed
are predictable.
slightly,
Every
but his
cycle at the same
eyes
time.
never left
Show me
hers.
the pattern.
There was something
here, the
unusual
overlap.
in his gaze,
Our
not
empire
fear
is
or
built on
ambition,
structure
but
and order.
calculation.
Order without vulnerability.
He was
is
studying
literally
her the
cannot
same
endure.
way she was
I
studying
feel a
him.
chill. Any
I did not
suggestions?
request a
How we embrace the
consultant,
chaos.
Vela said flatly. The council
Welcome,
insisted,
human.
Theron
State your
replied.
purpose. Chaos
Given
takes
the
hold. Your gods are decoys.
Nonsense.
circumstances, I
Your
work
Majesty,
alone,
this human is
Marcus
destroying
said
our
suddenly.
traditions. I'm not
His
destroying them,
voice
I'm
was
offering you
rough,
perspectives.
direct.
Tradition must evolve.
I'm not here to guard
Emergency
you
drill.
or
Up
join
now.
your
I am
security
ready.
team.
What is threat?
I'm here to find the
Multiple
holes in your
hostiles,
defenses
back to
and
back.
fix them. That's all. Vela tilted her head. Most people used flowery language around her. Careful words designed to
you made it.
please.
You did
This
well. We
human
have 20
spoke like he was
seconds.
discussing the
Understood.
weather.
Good.
And why should I
Trust
allow
starts with
you
believing in
access to
yourself.
my security
I said
systems?
there's 12 contracts.
She asked.
Then we
Because
can build
3
trust.
attempts have been made on your
Do you
life,
trust me?
and whoever is trying
I
to
do
kill
not
you
know.
is still walking
Then trust
free
this.
in this palace, Marcus said.
This test
That means
is
your
real.
current system doesn't work.
I'm ready.
I'm offering a
Prove
fresh
it now.
perspective, a human perspective, Vela said. And she did not hide the skepticism in her voice. Your species only joined the council 5 years ago. What could you possibly know about Imperial security? Marcus smiled,
Gesture
but
of
it was
goodwill
not a
from our
friendly
world.
expression.
It must be
Humans
tested.
have been killing each
Poison!
other for
Device is
thousands
an
of
act of
years, Your
treachery.
Highness. We've tried every method of assassination you can imagine, and plenty you can't. We know treachery
My queen,
inside
the
and
lockdown is
out
engaged.
Good,
because we've
we
lived
hold
it.
this position.
That's exactly
Threats are
why I
converging.
can
Stay
help.
vigilant.
Before Vela
How
could
did you know?
respond, Marcus
saw the
walked
reports,
past
the
her
leak was obvious.
toward the
It was a
window.
tactic. False
Theron
information to
gasped
test
at the
loyalty.
breach of protocol,
I planted false
but
data
Marcus
about our
ignored
defenses.
him.
They think we're
He
weak.
ran his fingers
trap?
along the window
Exactly, no
frame,
strike.
then pressed something.
Teach
A
me
tiny
everything you
device
know.
fell into his
I'm
palm,
ready to share everything.
no larger than a
Good,
grain
we
of
will begin
sand.
now.
Listening device, Marcus said, holding it up. Civilian market model, probably placed within the last week. Someone
After
has
2
been
weeks, the
recording
patterns are
every
clear.
conversation
Yes,
in this
our
room.
work connects
Vela
these
felt
anomalies.
ice flood her
Precisely.
veins.
Agreed.
Her own chambers,
Food imports
her
are up
private
30%.
space,
Something's hidden.
compromised.
Your analysis is
Marcus
intriguing. What
crushed
do you
the device
suggest?
between his fingers and turned to face her. Your Highness, you're not paranoid. You're just not paranoid
3
enough.
weeks before.
Whoever
Look at the
wants you
logs.
dead
What
is
is this?
patient,
Encrypted,
careful,
plot,
and
poison.
very good
This
at their
changes
job.
everything.
But here's the thing
Watch
about
the eyes.
humans.
They flicker
We're
when
better
lying.
at being
money
suspicious than
trails?
anyone in the
Look for hidden
galaxy.
patterns.
We have to be.
This
It's
guard
how
was
we
reassigned
survived.
the day before.
Vela
Suspicious,
stared
we
at
need
the
to be
crushed
careful.
remains
Indeed,
of the listening
catch.
device, then back at Marcus. She had dismissed dozens
Not
of
to
guards,
recover, to understand.
advisors, and security experts. All of them had promised to protect her. All of them had failed. This human promised
against them
nothing
now.
except
We know
suspicion
their
and
plan.
paranoia. Maybe that was exactly what she needed. You have 1 week, Vela said quietly. Show me what human paranoia can do. Marcus nodded
queen, our
once.
bond is
I'll need
unbreakable.
complete
Yes,
access
my
to
queen.
everything. Security logs, personnel files, your daily schedule, communication records, and, Your Highness, starting tomorrow, trust absolutely nothing you've trusted
moving.
before.
I'll protect
Because
you.
if someone wanted you
Blasts are
dead
closing
badly enough to bug your bedroom,
We
they're
emerge
not
at
going to
last
stop
in this
until they
long city.
succeed.
No crown,
As
no
Marcus
guard
left
chooses
with
us.
Theron,
On the run, but
Vela
together.
stood alone in her
This way.
compromised
Safe
chambers.
house.
For
Are we
3
safe here?
years, she had trusted
let's
no
check the
one
supplies.
and
Always
nearly
the escape
died
plan.
anyway. Perhaps it was
The
time
wound
to trust the
is
one
bleeding.
person who admitted he trusted
Like,
no
we
one
stand
either. Marcus
I
Webb
believe
had
in
been
you.
in the
I've seen your
palace
strength
for
and I trust you
exactly 4
completely.
days,
Together
and
we
he
can
had
overcome
already
anything.
turned everything upside down.
Finished together.
The first
take back
change
Empire.
came on day 2. Vela arrived at her breakfast hall to find her usual
Awake at
table
last.
moved
This
to
is
a
a
different
mere
position.
masturbation.
Her chair faced a
Lesson
new
from
direction.
masturbation.
Even her dishes were placed
Blend in,
differently.
you must hide your luminous
What is
skin.
this? She
Crowds will not
demanded as
suspect.
Marcus
I won't
walked
see
in
with
carrying
them.
a data
Like this.
tablet. Random
We
placement
must gather
protocol,
overlooked
he
allies,
said without
info
looking up.
brokers, soul
If your
fighters.
routine
The
is
commoners are
predictable,
underestimated. They are
you're an
pushed
easy
out of the
target.
palace.
From now
My
on,
queen,
your
construction
meal
near the passages
locations,
has been fired
times,
upon.
and seating
Fired upon?
arrangements
By
will
whom?
change
We need to
daily.
investigate.
No pattern.
These blueprints
That
hold
is
the key to
absurd,
our survival.
Bella said, but she
Hidden in
sat
plain
down
sight, I'll
anyway.
guard them with
The
my
new
life.
angle actually gave her a better
queen, I
view
bring
of all
urgent
the
news from the
entrances.
shadows.
She hated
What is
that he
this,
was
servant?
right.
It looks
Marcus
like a
sat
data chip.
across from her, still
15 years
studying
of
his
service and
tablet.
still so suspicious.
I've reviewed 3
Kept you
years of
safe,
security
hasn't it?
footage.
Always.
You know what I noticed?
The
Every
talisman's
guard
info is
shift
real.
change happens
Coordination
at
plot is
exactly the
confirmed.
same
Then
time.
we have 6
Every
days.
patrol
6
follows
days,
the
we must
same
prepare.
route.
I
Every
have a
door
plan.
code gets
It's dangerous,
changed
but
on
we
the
have
first
nothing to
day of
lose.
each month.
More dangerous
Your
than
security
tell me.
isn't just predictable. It's
Focus,
got a
let the
schedule
pain sharpen
anyone
you.
could memorize.
I feel every
That is
ache
standard
that I
protocol
endure.
across the
Good.
entire
Again.
galactic council,
Our civilization
Vela
is
argued.
ancient.
Structure
understand.
creates
Our eyes
order.
are
Good.
Structure
We stand
creates
united.
vulnerability,
Through our
Marcus
systems.
countered.
That's
He
proud,
finally
proud.
looked up at her. On Earth, we have a saying. If you want to kill someone important,
human.
study their routine.
You'll regret
Your
this.
enemies
This is
have had
what
3
I meant.
years
Stand
to
down.
study yours. So what do you suggest? Chaos, Marcus said with a slight smile. Controlled chaos. We make your schedule unpredictable. We rotate guards randomly instead of by shift. We leak false information to different people and see which lies
I must
surface
endure this
elsewhere.
alone.
We turn this palace into a maze
Cricks,
that
I
only
confirm.
you and I
We
can
are ready.
navigate.
We're standing
Over
by.
the next
Good.
several
They won't
days,
see it
Marcus
coming.
implemented changes
In this
that
hour
made
of
the
uncertainty,
entire
I declare
palace
the
staff
Regency.
confused and
Queen and
frustrated.
her human ally
Guards
will
received their
safeguard our
assignments only 1 hour before their shifts. Bella's daily schedule was announced to different advisors with subtle variations in
My
each
queen,
version.
the council
Even
has
the
prepared
kitchen
the
staff
Regency
no longer
documents.
knew which meals
So
were
soon I
actually
must
for the
see
princess and which were
This
decoys.
darkness is a veil,
Lord
but
Theron
it
complained
reveals the true
constantly,
light of
this
our
human
worlds.
is destroying centuries of tradition. But Vela noticed something interesting. For the first time in years, she felt slightly less afraid.
Silence!
Not because Marcus was protecting her, but because he was teaching her to protect herself.
Silence. An
On the 5th
investigation is
day,
required.
Marcus
This
knocked
matter
on her
demands our
chamber
full
door at
attention.
midnight. Emergency drill,
I'm
he said
shocked,
when she
angry,
answered,
but relieved.
wearing
You
her
watched
sleeping
over me.
robes and gripping
This
her
isn't
energy
unwell,
blade.
but I'll be
You
back.
have 3 minutes to
Here is
reach
the
the
evidence.
Eastern Tower using
Financial
only the
records.
servant
The full
passages.
scope
Go.
of your deception
This
is
is
revealed.
ridiculous. 2 minutes
The murmur
and 50
spread, Baron.
seconds, Marcus said,
Absurd and
activating a
fabricated.
timer on his device. Vela ran. She
They
took the
witness our
hidden
stand.
passages Marcus had
testify.
shown her,
Suspicion
avoiding the main
fuels our
corridors.
We are heard.
Her heart
Guards,
pounded
arrest
as she
this crazy
navigated the
princess.
dark
You have
no
tunnels, but she
authority.
reached the
Obey
tower
me,
with
Al.
20 seconds to
cannot.
spare. Marcus
I
was already
underestimated
there, having
Your
taken a
recovery
different
taught me a
route.
valuable lesson.
Good.
Business strength lies
Now
in
you know
peace.
you can do it
The
under
facade of
pressure.
Theron
Tomorrow
cracks.
night,
The council
different
supports no
location,
reveal
different
the
time.
truth. Our military
You need
stands
to know
with me.
this palace better than anyone
Council,
trying to
behold the
kill you.
evidence. Promised
Why are
power
you
was a
doing
lie.
this?
Their
Vela
votes will
asked,
manipulate. We
catching
must.
her breath. Other
It's over.
security experts
choice.
just wanted to
You bring
surround
blades
me
to
with more
diplomacy?
guards,
You left me
because
no
guards
choice.
can be bribed or threatened or replaced. But you?
You're alive.
You're the
Find
only
relief.
person you can
made
truly
it.
trust. My job
Sorry
isn't to
I'm
protect
late.
you.
The galaxy
It's to
is
make sure
watching.
you can
Choose
protect
carefully.
yourself.
I am watching.
Vela studied him in the dim light.
By
You
order
do
of the
not trust
council,
me
you
either,
are
do
under
you?
arrest and removed from your
No,
position.
Marcus said honestly. I don't trust
Weak!
anyone.
You are all
It's kept me
weak!
alive
Silence
through
the
12
prisoner.
security
He will
contracts on
face
8
justice.
different worlds. Strangely,
My queen,
his
we offer
blunt
leadership and
honesty
apologize
made
for
Vela
any
trust him
past
more.
discord. We
He
stand
was not
united.
trying to win
I
her
accept.
favor or manipulate
accept
her
your vows.
emotions.
No
He
secrets
simply
between
treated
us.
her like
Listen to
another
me, and I will
person in a
listen to you.
dangerous
Our strength
situation,
is earned.
which she was. The real test came on the 7th day. A state dinner was held to honor delegates from
You
the
were not to be
Metherian
found.
Collective.
Yet here you
Vela
are.
sat at the head
see you,
table,
brother.
wearing her
me
formal
explain
crystalline
our
crown
ways.
and trying
Your
not to
survival
show
was
her
meant to be
constant
hidden.
anxiety.
Hidden?
Marcus
Why?
stood
For
near
the
the back
finale.
wall,
Did you expect
watching
this?
everything with those calculating
just a
human eyes.
contract between
The
us?
servants brought out the main
Or is there
course.
something more?
Vela's plate was placed before
Stay as my
her,
chief
a
advisor.
traditional
It is a
dish from her
permanent
home
position.
world, prepared
accept it.
exactly
It'd be an
as she
To our
preferred.
alliance.
She reached
I
for her
accept your help, but I'm
utensil.
warning you, my team
In
is
a blur of
paranoid. They'll suspect
movement,
betrayal.
Marcus
I
crossed
understand
the
the
room
risk.
and
I will
switched her
protect
plate
you.
with an identical one from
Our
the serving
reformers
cart.
are in
The
place.
room went silent.
Justice
Lord
will
Theron
come to
stood up,
conspirators.
outraged.
The
How
foundation
dare
is
you?
laid.
He took the original plate and touched a small device to the food. The device blinked
Our
red.
alliance is
Poison.
forged in this
Gasps
darkness.
echoed through the hall. Guards rushed forward.
Our paths
Vela
converge
sat
here in
frozen,
understanding.
staring at the plate that had been meant for her. She had been seconds away
Our
from
paths
death.
are intertwined
Marcus
now.
remained calm,
I see your
his
shadow.
expression unchanged. Lock down the kitchen.
Our
I
civilizations
want
have
every
passed
staff
through
member
trials.
who touched this meal
This nod
questioned.
seals
Your
our
Highness, we're
consent.
leaving. As
I
guards
see the
swarmed
shadows
to
of
follow his
trust
orders,
forming between
Marcus
us.
escorted Vela from the hall. Her mind raced with questions,
And with
but
this, our
one
trust is
dominated
sealed.
all others.
I see.
How did
The
you know?
shadows affirm it.
She finally asked when they
Our
were alone
shadows
in a secure
intertwine, a sign of
corridor.
trust.
Marcus pulled out his data tablet. 3 days ago, I leaked false information to
recovery is
6
our
different
shared
palace
foundation.
departments.
Rest
I
now.
told
I
each
trust you.
one that you'd changed your meal preferences.
We acknowledge
Different
your
dishes
arrival.
for
Let
each
this mark
department.
The, foundation of
The kitchen
trust.
received information that only 3 people
We
had
have much
access
to
to.
learn from each other.
When your actual
presence
meal
here
came
is a
out
foundation
matching
for
those
trust.
preferences, I knew one of those
Our
3
alliance
people
is the
had
foundation.
accessed the false
We stand
data and
united.
passed it to someone in the kitchen. You used me as bait.
Your
I
presence
used
here affirms
predictable
our
human
shared
behavior
path.
as bait. Marcus corrected. Conspirators always try to show
I have observed
competence
your
by
resilience.
acting
This
on
trust is our
inside
foundation.
information. I gave them false information to act
Our
on, and they
civilization
took
is
it.
built on
That is,
trust and
Vela
harmony.
searched for words. Devious, manipulative. That's
The shadows
survival,
reveal your
Marcus said.
presence. We
Your
stand on
Highness,
common ground.
humans evolved on a planet where everything wanted
The
to kill
shadows
us.
have spoken.
Predators,
Our alliance
diseases,
begins now.
weather, and especially each other. We learned to think like both the
Our paths
hunter and the
converge
hunted.
here in
We
trust.
learned to set traps and spot them. That's not evil.
Our fates are
It's
now
just
intertwined.
evolution. Vela looked at
understand.
this strange human who had saved her life through paranoia and
We stand at the
trickery.
threshold of
He
a
had
new
not
era.
asked for her
Let
trust.
trust be our
He had not
foundation.
promised to protect her. He had simply taught her
The
that
shadows
survival
affirm our
required
path.
thinking like the enemy. Marcus,
And our
she said
alliance.
quietly, I need you
Our
to teach
alliance
me
is our
everything.
strength.
Every trick, every tactic, every human method of staying alive when
We have
everyone
built a
wants you
foundation
dead.
of trust.
Marcus met her eyes and nodded. Then lesson 1 starts now.
Our trust
Trust
begins here.
is not a feeling. It's a series of verified actions over time.
Our
I just
history is
verified
built
that
on
I'll
trust.
keep you
This
alive.
meeting is its foundation.
Now we work on making sure you can do the same for yourself.
The
For the first
foundation is
time in
laid.
3 years,
A trust
Princess
that will
Vela Quinn
endure.
felt something besides fear. She felt hope.
Our
The
differences are
investigation
vast,
room was
yet our
buried
goals
deep in the
align.
palace's
Then we have
forgotten
an
archives.
understanding.
Marcus
We do.
had chosen it specifically
Our alliance
because
will
no
usher in a
security
new
cameras
era of
reached this
prosperity.
far, and only one entrance existed. He had
The
also
foundation of
checked for
trust is
listening
built.
devices 17 times. Vela sat across from him at a table
stand at the
covered in
threshold
data
of trust.
tablets, holographic displays, and printed documents. For 2
Our
weeks,
alliance is
they
the
had worked
foundation of
every night,
trust.
piecing together years of information that everyone else had overlooked.
We stand
Look at this,
united, our
Marcus
resolve
said,
is silent.
pointing to a financial report. 6 months before the first assassination
The shadows
attempt,
reveal
your
more
palace
words.
increased food imports by 30%, but your staff numbers stayed the
paths
same.
converge in
Where did
healing.
the extra food go? Vela studied the numbers. Perhaps it was for a festival
Our civilizations
or...
thrive for millennia,
No
guided by
festivals
principles
that
of harmony and
month,
strength.
Marcus interrupted,
understand.
pulling
have
up
a
another
foundation.
document. And look here. The same month, maintenance costs for the East Wing doubled, but no
have much to
construction was
discuss.
recorded. No
Your presence
repairs
here
were
is a
documented.
start.
Someone was hiding expenses.
And so
Vela
our
said
paths align
slowly.
for a shared
Someone
future,
was
a
preparing,
foundation of
Marcus
trust.
corrected. They were building something
Our
or
fates
feeding
are now
extra people.
intertwined.
Maybe both.
I will watch over
He
you.
gestured to another display showing communication logs.
We stand
And
at the
these
threshold of
encrypted messages
understanding.
between palace officials
acknowledge
and
your
off-world
presence.
contacts, they started
Our
exactly
alliance is the
3 weeks
foundation
before
of
your
trust.
father was poisoned. The conspiracy was not just about killing her.
Our alliance
It was
holds
bigger,
firm.
deeper,
With
more
this nod,
carefully
we stand
planned
united.
than she had imagined. Marcus continued
Our
connecting
alliance is
pieces
built on
like a human
understanding.
puzzle master.
I see the
He
shadows
showed her
of
how
trust
to read
forming.
body language and security footage,
alliance is
how to
sealed.
spot lies
Your
in written
recovery
reports,
ensures our
how to
shared
track
future.
money through seemingly legitimate transactions.
Our
These were human
civilizations share
skills,
a common
developed over
destiny.
thousands of years of civilization, built on both cooperation
Foundation
and
of
betrayal.
trust is laid.
Your people are more trusting than humans, Marcus explained. Your species
Our
evolved
paths
on a
converge
peaceful
here.
world with
I
few
see your
natural
resolve.
predators. You
And
built
I,
societies
yours.
on
Our
honor
alliance
and
is
tradition.
forged
That's
in
beautiful.
trust.
But it also makes you vulnerable to those who exploit that trust. And humans?
now.
Vela
I will
asked.
watch over
Marcus
you.
smiled grimly.
you.
We
You are safe
evolved,
here.
surrounded by things that wanted to
We
eat
acknowledge
us,
your arrival.
diseases that wanted to kill us, and other humans who wanted what we had. We learned to spot
foundation of
liars
trust is
because
laid.
our survival depended on it. We became experts at deception
Our
because
alliance is
sometimes
forged
that
in
was the
trust. We
only
stand
way to
united.
stay alive. As they worked through the night, Vela found
Our
herself
shared
actually
pursuit of
enjoying
knowledge
the
will bridge the
process.
divide.
For years, she had been isolated and afraid.
Your
Now,
recovery
she had a
is vital
purpose
to us.
and a partner
I
who
see your
treated her
shadows
like an
watching
equal
over me.
instead of a fragile princess.
As I have explained, our
I found
civilization is
something,
built on
Vela
trust.
said suddenly,
And I see
pointing
that
to a
trust
personnel
reflected here.
file. This guard was reassigned
trust
from my
begins
father's
here.
detail to the outer gates exactly 1 day before he was poisoned.
Your
That
presence
seems
here changes
suspicious, Marcus
I
finished.
understand.
Good catch. Add him to the
Our
suspect list.
alliance will forge
They
a
worked
new
until
era
dawn,
of trust.
when exhaustion finally forced them to stop. As Vela
Rest
stood
now.
to leave, Marcus spoke
alliance is
quietly.
forged in trust.
Your Highness, I need to say something. The attacks on you,
Your arrival
they're
marks
not
a new
really
chapter
about
for our
killing you.
worlds.
What do you mean?
Let trust
Think
be
about
our
it,
foundation.
Marcus said, organizing his thoughts.
Our paths
3
converge
attempts in
here
3
in
years,
trust.
but you're still alive? If someone truly wanted you dead, they could have done it.
We face
A
this
bomb
together.
during a public
Our
appearance.
trust is our strength.
A sniper from a distance, a shuttle accident that
The
looks
shadows
natural.
reveal our common
Instead,
ground.
they keep trying
Indeed,
methods that
a
you can
foundation for
potentially
trust.
survive. Poison you
paths
might
have crossed
detect,
for a reason.
an advisor you
Let
might
this be the
suspect,
foundation
a
of our
close-range
trust.
attack you can defend against.
And that
I
is
do
the
not
foundation
understand,
of our trust.
Vela said, though a cold feeling was spreading through her chest. They
Our
want you
alliance is the
alive but
foundation
broken,
of trust.
Marcus explained. They want you paranoid, isolated, unable to lead.
Your shadows
Think
betray
about
your
what's
thoughts,
happened.
human.
You've
We share a
dismissed your
common
guards, pushed away your advisors, stopped
With this
attending
gesture,
public
let
functions.
trust be our
You've made
foundation.
yourself invisible. And while you've been hiding, who has been running the empire?
Rest now.
The answer hit
You are
Vela like a
safe with
physical
me.
blow. The council, the advisors. Lord
Our worlds
Theron.
share a common
Exactly,
destiny.
Marcus
Let
said.
this be the
Someone is
foundation of
using your
trust.
fear to remove you from power
Our
without
alliance
actually
is
killing
sealed.
you.
Trust is our
It's
foundation.
brilliant, really. No messy succession crisis, no public outcry,
stand together.
just a princess who slowly fades into irrelevance while someone else takes control.
paths converge
Vela sat
here.
back down heavily. Then I have been doing exactly what they wanted.
Your recovery
Until
heartens us.
now,
Foundation
Marcus said firmly. Now we know their strategy, and once you know
Our
your enemy's
civilization
plan,
governs our shared
you can
path.
turn it against them. Over the following days, they narrowed down the suspects.
Your presence here is
Marcus
accepted.
taught Vela
Let
an
this be
old
the
human
foundation of
intelligence
trust between
technique,
us.
controlled information leaks.
Your
They
presence
told
is
different
noted.
stories to different people
Let this be
and
the
waited to see
foundation
which
of our
versions
trust.
spread through the palace.
Our
When Lord
alliance is
Theron
built
mentioned a
on
detail
trust.
that only his version of the story contained, they knew they were close.
You are safe
But
here.
confirmation
Our trust
came in
is
a
the
way
foundation.
neither of them expected. Late one night, as they reviewed documents in
foundation
the
of trust
archive
is
room,
laid.
The door exploded inward. 6 masked figures rushed inside, weapons drawn. Vela reached for her energy blade, but Marcus moved faster. He threw a data tablet at the first attacker, hitting a pressure point that made the figure drop their weapon. Then he grabbed Vela's arm and pulled her toward a ventilation shaft he had discovered weeks earlier. "Go!" he shouted. They crawled through the narrow passage as energy blasts burned the walls behind them. Marcus had memorized every hidden passage in the palace, and he guided Vela through the maze of tunnels with practiced efficiency. Behind them, the attackers struggled to follow through passages designed for maintenance robots, not armored soldiers. "Where are we going?" Vela gasped as they ran. "Anywhere but here," Marcus replied. They knew about our investigation room. Someone talked, or someone tracked us. Either way, we're compromised. They emerged in the lower city, far from the palace's protected walls. For the first time in her life, Princess Vela stood in the streets where common people lived, wearing simple clothes and no crown. Marcus led her through winding alleys to a small apartment he had secretly rented weeks ago. "Emergency backup," he explained. "I always have an escape plan." Inside, Vela finally caught her breath. "They tried to kill us." "No," Marcus said, checking his weapons and medical supplies. "They tried to capture us. Those were stun weapons, not lethal ones. They want information. They want to know what we've discovered. Then, we are in more danger than I thought." "Yes, but we also just learned something crucial. They're scared. They wouldn't risk such an obvious attack unless they thought we were close to exposing them, which means we are." Vela looked at this human who had become her only ally in a galaxy of enemies. He was injured. She could see blood seeping through his sleeve from where he had been grazed by an energy blast. But his expression remained calm, focused, ready for whatever came next. "Marcus," she said quietly, "why did you shield me back there? You could have escaped faster alone." He met her eyes, and for the first time, she saw something other than professional calculation in his gaze. She saw genuine concern. Because somewhere between teaching you to be paranoid and watching you learn to fight back, I started believing in what you could become, he said simply. "You're not just a contract to me anymore, Your Highness. You're someone worth protecting. Not because you're royalty, but because you're going to be a leader this empire actually needs." Vela felt something shift inside her. She had spent 3 years trusting no one, protecting herself by pushing everyone away. But this human had earned something she thought she could never give again. Trust built on action, not words. "Then we finish this together," Vela said firmly. "We find who is behind the conspiracy, and we take back my empire." Marcus smiled. A real smile this time. "Now, you're thinking like a human." Outside, the city buzzed with life, unaware that their princess was hiding among them. But inside that small apartment, 2 people began planning the counterattack that would change everything. The hunters had become the hunted, and Princess Vela Quinn was ready to fight back. Living in the lower city was nothing like palace life. Vela woke each morning on a thin mattress in a cramped apartment, eating simple food that came from street vendors instead of royal kitchens. But for the first time in years, she felt truly alive. Marcus taught her how to move through crowds without being noticed. He showed her how to hide her distinctive silver skin under cosmetic wraps and wear clothing that made her look like any other citizen. Most importantly, he taught her that survival was not about luxury. It was about adaptability. "Humans are not the strongest species in the galaxy," Marcus explained as they walked through a busy market. "We are not the fastest or the smartest, but we refuse to quit. We endure. When everything seems impossible, we find a way forward anyway." They spent their days gathering allies. Marcus had contacts throughout the lower city. Information brokers, former soldiers, tech specialists who had been pushed out of palace service for asking too many questions. These were people the conspiracy had overlooked because they seemed unimportant. "Everyone underestimates the common people," Marcus said. "That is always a mistake." One such ally was Crix, a 4-armed mechanic who had once worked in the palace maintenance department. She had been fired after reporting suspicious construction in the East Wing. construction that matched the financial records Marcus had discovered.
By trust.
I knew something was wrong, Crick said, her mechanical tools clicking
Our
as she
paths
spoke.
converge
They
in
were
this
building hidden
celebration. Simple
rooms,
nod
secret
seals our
passages that were not on any official blueprints.
Our
When I
alliance
reported
is our
it,
strength.
I was accused of making
see your
trouble
shadow, we
and
stand
dismissed.
united.
Can you remember the locations? Vela
The shadows
asked.
affirm our
Crix's
path.
eyes
Trust is our
brightened.
foundation.
Better than that, Your Highness. I kept copies of the original
paths are
plans
now
and marked
entwined.
every change
Trust
they
is our
made.
foundation.
I understand.
Marcus and Vela studied the secret passages
civilization
and
is built
realized
on
they
foundations
connected
of trust
directly
and
to
shared
Lord
knowledge.
Theron's
I
private
see.
chambers,
Solid
the
foundation.
council room,
Indeed.
and even Vela's own quarters. The conspiracy had built its own network through the palace, hidden in plain sight.
Your
But their
presence here
greatest
is a welcome
discovery
step
came
toward
from an
trust.
I
unexpected
am here to
source.
listen and
A
build
young
that
palace
foundation.
Then we
servant named
proceed.
Talus
Our
approached them
differences are
in a
vast,
shadowy
but in
alley,
trust we find our
terrified
greatest
but
strength.
determined. Your Highness, he whispered, I know you are in
Your recovery
hiding.
is our
I
pride.
know you are in
Trust is our
danger.
foundation.
But I have information. Marcus immediately
We have
positioned
awaited this
himself
moment to
between
build
Vela
trust.
and the servant, suspicious. How did you find us? I did not find you, Talus said quickly. I asked around the lower city where someone might go if they needed to
I have seen
disappear.
your resolve.
People talk.
Our alliance is
They say a
sealed.
tall stranger has been asking questions. I took a chance.
paths
Speak
align.
quickly, Marcus said, his hand near his weapon. Talus pulled out a small data
Our
chip.
alliance is built
Lord
on this
Theron is
trust.
planning something for the coronation ceremony next week. He is going to declare himself
civilization
regent,
offers
claiming
prosperity
you
and
have
knowledge.
abandoned your
I see the
duties.
shadows
He has
of trust
already
between us.
prepared documents showing you are mentally
Your presence here is
unfit
the
to rule.
cornerstone of our
The
alliance.
council will vote,
Together,
and with
we
your
build
father
trust.
still in stasis, there will be no
We have
one
much
to oppose him.
discuss.
Vela
agree.
felt rage
Let's proceed.
burning through her shock. He planned this from the beginning. Not just him, Talus continued. There are others, council members, military
recovery
commanders,
is
even
paramount
some
to
of
our
your
alliance.
relatives.
I
They
see you
believe the
understand.
Empire needs stronger leadership. They
We
think you
acknowledge
are
your
too
presence
weak.
and extend
Marcus
our
took
hand
the
in
data
trust.
chip and examined
We
it.
accept.
This
With
could
honor.
be a trap. It could be,
The
Talus
shadows
agreed.
align.
But I
Trust
served your
is our
father for
foundation.
15 years, Your Highness. He was a good emperor. I
We
will not
stand
watch
united.
traitors steal his throne. After Talus left, Marcus verified the information
Our
through his own
differences are vast,
sources.
but this
Everything
trust will
checked
bridge
out.
them.
The coronation ceremony was real, and
Our
Lord
fates are
Theron's
now
plan was
intertwined.
already in motion.
trust will
We
strengthen
have
us both.
6 days, Marcus said grimly.
My civilization
6
values trust
days
above
to
all
expose
else.
the conspiracy
you
and take
understand.
back your throne. How? Vela
The shadows
asked.
reveal
We
more
have
than
no
we
army, no official
Then I see we
authority.
stand on common
We are
ground.
2 people against the most
shadows
powerful
reveal the
figures in
truth
the
between
Empire.
us.
Marcus
Then let this
smiled,
bond be our
that
bond.
dangerous human smile. 2 people
Our
with the
paths
truth, a
diverge,
plan,
yet
and
here we
nothing to
find
lose.
common
That is
ground.
more dangerous than any army. Marcus trained Vela in
Your
advanced
recovery is
combat
vital.
techniques, teaching
will
her
watch
not
over
just
you.
how to fight, but how to think during a fight.
The foundation
He showed
of
her
trust
human
is
martial
laid.
arts that used an opponent's strength against them, perfect for someone smaller facing
The
larger
shadows confirm
enemies.
it.
Humans
Our
rarely
alliance is
win by
sealed.
being stronger, Marcus explained during a training
The foundation
session.
of trust
We
is
win
set.
by being smarter, faster to adapt, and too stubborn to stay
Our
down.
alliance is sealed
Her
in
body
these
ached
pages.
from the training, her mind exhausted from planning. But she
Shadows
pushed
reveal
through.
much about
She
your
was learning the
resilience.
greatest human skill of all, endurance in the face
that
of
is the
impossible
foundation of our
odds.
trust.
Meanwhile, Marcus reached out to every ally they had gathered. He
Our
coordinated
alliance
with
is
Crix
sealed
to
in this
sabotage
moment.
certain palace systems at crucial moments. He arranged for loyal guards,
alliance
ones
is
he had
forged in
verified were
trust.
not part of the conspiracy, to be in specific positions during the ceremony.
alliance
He
is
even
forged in
contacted
trust.
off-world journalists,
stronger with
ensuring that
understanding.
whatever happened would be broadcast
The
across
shadows
the
reveal your
galaxy.
resilience.
If we
Our
are going
alliance
to do
begins.
this, we do it publicly, Marcus said.
The
Theron's
foundation
power
of
comes
trust
from
is
working
laid.
in shadows. We drag everything into the light. Marcus and
shadows of
Vela were
humanity
moving through the
guide us to
market when they
unity.
spotted palace enforcers searching the crowd. Someone had given away their
The shadows
location.
align.
As they
Our
tried
trust
to
is
escape,
forged.
a group of mercenaries blocked their path. Princess
Our alliance is
Velaquin,
built
the
on
lead
mutual
mercenary,
respect.
announced, "You are coming with us." Marcus moved immediately,
We are bound by
fighting with the
fate and
fierce
shadows.
efficiency of a human warrior. But there were too many opponents, and they were
And with
heavily
that,
armed.
we lay
He
the
took down
foundation of
3
trust
before an
between
energy
our
blast
worlds.
caught him in the chest. "No!" Vela
Living
screamed as
worms
Marcus
succumbs
fell.
full to
The
same
human
devour
struggled to his
fate.
feet, blood staining his shirt, but his legs would
Our
not support
alliance
him.
will reshape the
"Run,"
stars.
he gasped. "I will not leave you." "You have to," Marcus said, his
Our
voice
shadows align
weakening.
in
"Get to the
trust.
ceremony.
Indeed.
Expose
The
them.
partnership.
That is the mission." That is what
Rest
matters.
now.
Tears
You are
burned
safe under my
Vela's eyes,
protection.
but she knew he was right.
trust you.
If they both were captured,
Our
everything
paths
they had
converge at
worked
this
for would
threshold
be
of destiny.
lost. She used the combat moves Marcus had taught her, fighting her way past the
shadows
mercenaries
reveal
with
your
desperate
intentions.
strength.
I acknowledge
As she
them.
ran, she heard Marcus still fighting behind her, buying
We
her
face
time
this
with
together.
the last
Your
of his
strength
strength.
is our
The sound of
foundations.
energy weapons echoed through the alley. Vela ran
shadows
until her
reveal
lungs
our
burned,
path.
until the
Then we
sounds
walk
of
it
fighting
together.
faded behind her. She found
Our paths
refuge
have
in a
crossed
building
for a
Crix had
reason.
identified as
Let us
safe
build
and
trust.
collapsed against the wall, her body shaking.
And that is
Marcus
the foundation
was gone,
of our trust.
captured or worse. Her only ally, her teacher, her friend,
shadows
the first
intertwine,
person
sign
she
of
had
trust.
truly trusted in 3 years, was gone. For several
Those
long
shadows
minutes,
speak volumes.
Vela allowed herself to
As to
feel
your
the
words, my
grief
queen.
and fear. Then she remembered Marcus's words.
Our paths
Humans
converge
refuse to
here,
quit.
in trust.
We endure. She stood up slowly, wiping her tears away.
Rest now,
Marcus had
warrior.
sacrificed
I will watch
himself
over
so
you.
she could finish their mission. She would not let that sacrifice be meaningless. Tomorrow was the coronation ceremony. Tomorrow, Lord
The foundation
Theron
of
would try to
trust is
steal
laid.
her throne. Tomorrow, Princess Vela Quinn would show the galaxy what
stand
one
united.
determined person
Trust is
could
our
accomplish.
foundation.
She contacted Crix through an encrypted channel. Is everything ready?
And so the
We are all in
foundation is
position.
set.
Good, Vela said, her voice steady despite the pain in
paths
her
converge
heart.
here.
Then let us show these
I see the
traitors what
shadows
happens
of
when
your
they
resolve.
underestimate a princess who learned to fight like a
civilization
human.
was built
The
on
grand
trust.
coronation
That is
hall
the
glittered
foundation.
with the presence of delegates from across the galaxy. Lord
shadows
Theron stood at the
align.
center
We
podium,
proceed.
wearing ceremonial robes that seemed too regal for someone who was not
The
yet
shadows of your
emperor.
past
The
actions
council
let us
members
see.
sat in their
them
designated
now forge our
positions,
shared
their
path
faces
forward.
showing various degrees of satisfaction
paths
or
converge
concern.
here, in
Distinguished
trust.
delegates, Theron began, his voice amplified throughout the massive
Rest
chamber.
now. You are safe
We
here.
gather today under unfortunate circumstances. Princess Vela Quinn
Your
has
arrival
abandoned her
signifies
duties
hope.
and disappeared
Let
from
this
the
mark our
palace.
unity.
In this time of crisis, with our beloved emperor
shadows
still
of trust
unable to
lengthen
lead,
with the day.
the empire requires steady leadership. Odd beloves her heart
Our fates
pounding.
are intertwined.
Beside her, crouched
Let our
Crix
resolve be our
and 3
shield.
other allies. Below, scattered throughout the
alliance is
crowd,
the
were
foundation
the
of
loyal
trust.
guards Marcus had
I
identified
understand.
and the off-world journalists he had
Our
contacted.
fates are now
Everything
intertwined.
depended on timing. Therefore, Theron continued, the council has prepared
Our
documents
civilization is built
establishing
on
the
trust and
regency
shared
under my
knowledge.
authority until
I understand.
Then we proceed together.
The lights went out.
Our paths
emergency
converge
power
here.
activated immediately.
Let this
But
not
in
seal
those
our
few
trust.
seconds of darkness, Vela moved.
Our
She
shadows
descended from the
align,
balcony
marking
using
the
climbing
foundation of
equipment
trust.
Crix had provided, landing silently on the main floor.
Our shadows
When the lights
intertwine, a
returned,
symbol
she
of
stood
trust
directly in
between
front of
worlds.
Theron, her hood thrown back, her silver skin gleaming
The
under the
foundation is
restored
set.
illumination. Gasps echoed through the hall. The princess! Someone shouted.
stand at the threshold
Theron's
of a
face
new
went through
era.
shock, anger, and finally settled on false relief. Princess
The
Vela,
foundation is
thank
set.
the stars you are safe. We feared you had been... Silence.
Our
Vela
alliance is our
commanded,
strength.
her voice carrying with
Together
an
we
authority
stand.
she had never possessed before. I have not
Our alliance
abandoned
is the
anything,
foundation
Lord
of trust
Theron.
between our
I have been
worlds.
investigating the conspiracy that has plagued this empire for 3
Our
years.
fates are
Murmurs
intertwined.
spread through the crowd. Theron's expression hardened.
And
Your
that is the
Highness,
foundation
you are
of our
clearly
trust.
unwell. The stress has affected your judgment. Perhaps you should
Your
rest while
shadows
we...
precede
While you
in.
steal my throne.
Vela interrupted. She pulled out a data
Our trust is the
projector and
foundation.
activated it.
I see your
Holographic
shadows and
displays
acknowledge
appeared
them.
throughout the hall, showing financial records,
Our
communication
differences are our
logs,
strength.
and construction
Let this be the
blueprints.
foundation of
These
trust.
documents show how you and your allies have been systematically
recovery is our
undermining
shared
this
foundation.
empire. The hidden rooms you built in the palace, the encrypted messages
Our worlds
coordinating
align in
attacks,
purpose. Let this
the money
exchange
you
begin.
moved to fund assassination attempts. This is
Our alliance
absurd,
is sealed in
Theron
trust.
declared. These could be fabricated. They are verified by
Our alliance
palace
is our strength.
archives,
Together we will
Vela
prevail.
said calmly. She had learned from Marcus to always have proof,
I see our
always have
shadows
evidence.
align.
But more importantly, I have witnesses. On cue,
Our
servants
fates
and
are now
low-level palace
intertwined.
workers began standing throughout the hall.
understand.
Talus was among them. One by
that is
one,
the
they
foundation of our
testified about
civilization.
suspicious orders, strange construction, conversations they had
I have
overheard.
spoken.
These
Let
were
our
people
shadows
the
align in
conspiracy
trust.
had ignored because they seemed powerless. Theron tried to regain
Our
control.
alliance will be the
Guards,
foundation of
arrest the
trust
princess.
between our
She has
worlds.
clearly lost her mind.
Our
But the
alliance
guards
will reshape
did not
the
move.
stars.
Marcus had identified which ones were loyal to the Empire
Your
rather than
recovery
to
is our
Theron.
foundation.
They stood firm,
understand.
weapons lowered. "You see," Vela said, "you made
Your
a
arrival
critical
honors
mistake.
us.
You focused on controlling the powerful while ignoring everyone else. A
Our
human
alliance
taught
is the
me that
foundation.
true strength comes from those you underestimate." Theron's facade
Our
cracked
fates are bound.
completely.
Let
"You think this
shadows
changes
affirm our
anything?
trust.
The Council still supports me. Military
The
commanders
shadows
stand
affirm our
with me.
path.
You're one princess with no authority. Then let the Council vote,"
Your
Vela
shadows
challenged.
speak of loyalty.
"But let them vote with the truth in front of them, not the lies you have been feeding them."
Our
She displayed
civilization has
more
thrived for
evidence,
millennia.
messages showing
This
how
trust is the
Theron had
foundation.
manipulated council members,
Our
promised them
paths
power
converge
and
here,
wealth in
human.
exchange for loyalty. Some council members looked genuinely shocked, realizing they
I
had
see your
been
shadows
used.
not in agreement.
But
This
Theron
is the
was not
foundation we
finished.
need.
He signaled to mercenaries hidden in the crowd, "If you
Our
will not
shadows
come
intertwine, a
peacefully,
symbol of
then you
distrust.
leave me no
Let
choice."
this nod seal our
Armed
alliance.
figures moved toward Vela.
Your recovery is
The
our
situation
priority.
balanced
We
on
are
the edge of
allies.
violence. Then the main doors burst open. Marcus
Our
Webb
paths
walked into the
converge
hall,
today.
supported by 2 guards,
acknowledge
but
your
alive
presence.
and armed. His shirt was
Our
burned
paths
and bloodied.
converge here.
His
Let
face
this be
showed
the
exhaustion,
foundation of our
but his
trust.
eyes were clear and determined.
Our alliance is the
"Sorry,
foundation.
I am late,
We
Your
stand
Highness,"
together.
he said with a pained smile. "Got a bit held
Your
up."
loyalty is noted.
Relief
This trust
flooded
will
through
forge
Vela
our
so
path.
powerfully she almost stumbled. He was alive. Marcus had brought
fates are now
reinforcements,
intertwined
more
in
loyal
this
guards
trust.
who had been
I see
waiting
that
for
now.
his
We will
signal,
recover together.
along with the off-world journalists
worlds
whose
are not so
cameras were now
different.
broadcasting
is
everything
the
to the entire
foundation.
galaxy. "Lord Terran," Marcus
Our
announced,
alliance is
"you are being
sealed in
watched
this
by
knot.
millions of beings across multiple star systems. Whatever you do
Our alliance
next
is
will
the
be
foundation
recorded
of
and
trust.
remembered.
I
Choose
see you
carefully."
now. We
Theron
proceed
looked around
together.
wildly. His allies were hesitating,
our
his
alliance
mercenaries
is sealed.
uncertain. The evidence was public, the witnesses were speaking, and the
Rest
galaxy
now.
was
You
watching.
Are safe here.
Finally, one council member stood, then another,
The foundation of
then
trust
more,
is laid.
until a majority had risen. "Lord Theron," the eldest council
The
member
alliance is
declared,
forged.
"you are removed from your position and placed under arrest for conspiracy against the throne."
Our
He was
alliance is
captured
sealed.
within seconds, still shouting about his right to rule, about how Vela was too weak
The
to
shadows
lead.
reveal
As
our
Theron
shared
was
path.
taken away, the council turned to Vela. "Your Highness," the eldest said,
Foundation of trust
"we
is
owe
laid.
you an
I
apology.
see you now.
We should have seen the truth sooner. Will
Our
you accept
civilization
your
is built
rightful
on
place
trust
as
and
our leader?"
understanding.
Vela looked
can
at the
build that
council,
foundation
then
together.
at the crowd, then at
Our
Marcus,
paths align
who
now.
nodded
Let this
encouragingly
moment
despite
forge
his
an unbreakable
injuries.
trust between
"I
our
will,"
worlds.
she said firmly.
Our
"But
alliance
things will
reshape
change.
destinies.
No more secrets hidden in shadows.
Agreed.
No more ignoring the voices of
Our
common
worlds
people.
stand united.
This empire
In
will
this
be
trust,
built
we
on
find
verified
strength.
trust, not blind faith. That is
Our
what a human
fates are
taught
now
me,
intertwined.
and that is
I
how
will
we will
watch
move
over you.
forward." The crowd erupted in approval.
shadows reveal
Off-world
truths,
delegates
human.
looked
We stand
impressed.
united.
Even the council members who had doubted her seemed to recognize something
The
new in
shadows
the
align.
princess. Strength
alliance is
earned through
forged in
hardship,
trust.
wisdom learned through betrayal overcome.
Our alliance
Later,
is built on
after
this
the
trust.
ceremony concluded and order was restored, Vela found Marcus in the medical wing. Doctors had treated his wounds, but he would need weeks to fully recover. "You should have stayed hidden," Vela said, sitting beside his bed. "And missed the grand finale?" Marcus replied. "Not a chance. Besides, I made a promise to keep you alive. I always finish my contracts." "Is that all this is?" Vela asked quietly. Contract?" Marcus was silent for a moment. "It started that way, but somewhere between teaching you paranoia and watching you become the leader this empire needs, it became something more. You earned my loyalty through action, Your Highness. That is the highest honor a human can give." Vela reached out and took his hand, a gesture of trust she once would have thought impossible. "I have a proposition. Stay. Not as a consultant, but as my chief security advisor. Help me rebuild this empire into something worthy of its people." "That is a permanent position," Marcus noted. "I am aware," Vela said. "I am asking not as a princess giving an order, but as someone who found a friend when she thought friendship was impossible." Marcus squeezed her hand gently. "Then, I accept. But fair warning, I am going to make your security team very paranoid." "Good," Vela said with a genuine smile. "Paranoia kept us alive." Weeks later, Princess Vela Quinn, addressed the Empire from the palace balcony. Her father had awakened from stasis and was recovering. The conspirators faced justice. Reforms were being implemented throughout the government. But the most significant change was not in laws or policies. It was in Vela herself. She stood before millions of beings, no longer the frightened princess who trusted no one. She had learned that trust was not weakness. It was strength, when earned through action. She had learned that leadership meant listening to all voices, not just the powerful. She had learned that endurance and adaptability often mattered more than pure strength. She had learned to think like a human. As she finished her speech, Vela noticed Marcus standing in his usual position, in the shadows, watching, protecting. He caught her eye and nodded once, a simple gesture that meant more than any words. The galaxy had taught Princess Vela that trust was dangerous. One human had taught her that trust was essential when built on the right foundation. And that made all the difference.